Hello and welcome to the United Stand. It is Sunday Night Live. We'll be talking a little about the future of United Stand's Sunday Night Live in a moment. But I know Soccer Aid's on, if anyone could be asked to watch that. Why you want to watch a fat bloke, Robbie Williams, running around playing football when you could watch the United Stand? I haven't got a clue. But we're talking Euros, Euro 2016. Alex is with me. He's a big England fan anyway. I am sort of excited about it, and I'll tell you why as we get into the show. But the main thing we want to talk about tonight is Manchester United at the Euros. We've got 10 players, I think, there. Well, 9 and a tree. And then we've got a load of players that we are actually going to be looking at, which I think are big targets to be looking at, which we'll be talking about as well. So we want your involvement. We will also say who we think is going to win the Euros, if that rocks your boat. But we'll also be talking about the players and games to look out for as well. But first of all, let's fly into this Eric Bailly rumour, which is going around at the moment. We had a bit of criticism because we did a film yesterday, Alex, saying that he signed for Manchester United. I seem to recall we did a film about Louis van Gaal sacked 3 days before. The same with Mourinho before. I mean, I don't know what people expect us to wait for things to be official. The reality is Bailly will be a Manchester United player this week. 100% sure of it. Shoot me down if I'm wrong. I know there was a bit of an Ashley Williams gate. I want to run through this very quickly in a couple of minutes, but there was a bit of Ashley Williams gate amongst Man United fans on Twitter yesterday. Some people saying basically it started off with Eric Bailly. Nobody knew who he was 2 days ago, so why is everyone saying he's a great player now? I just find that quite arrogant. I don't know what you think, Alex. I think it's really arrogant because I know who Eric Bailly is. I wouldn't have mentioned him in the same breath as Manchester United, granted, but I know who he is because Liverpool. I hate Liverpool, and they played them a couple of months ago, Villarreal. And I obviously did my research on Villarreal, who've had like a fantastic season, not conceding goals. I think they finished 4th. And this Bailly has been an absolute revelation. I never expected him to come to Manchester United, but he's quick, strong, young, on a very steep curve. I think he'd be a good signing for United.
Yeah, I haven't ever seen him play, but he does sound like the attributes that are listed, that he's really like strong. He's like 6'2" or something, I think. So, and he's quick. So like his main weakness apparently is that he's not really that good at playing the ball out from the back, but he's only 22, so he can learn and adjust to that. But I'm happy that we're buying these big, strong, powerful players. Like Pep seems to be with like the Gundogan and stuff signings, that he's going to try to build like a mini Barcelona, which will work for City in Europe. But I think in the Premier League it's going to get bullied. Whereas Jose always likes to have like a big, strong, powerful team, which he seems to be building with the first one with Bailly and hopefully Zlatan too.
Yep, I think we might have Joey with us, although he might be just messing up with his audio there, so he might just want to mute Joey because you've caused us a problem there as I talk. But yeah, the Ashley Williams, I mean, Eric Bailly, if Jose Mourinho wants him, then I trust Jose Mourinho. But Joey, can you hear me? Big problem with Joey there. Let's just yeah, he's gone again. Good. But the Ashley Williams gate. I mean, some top Reds again. I'm not naming them. Oh, Ashley Williams would be a great player for Manchester United, and lots of you were going mad at those people for saying that. My thoughts on Ashley Williams, I could talk all night about why he's not a Manchester United player, but I will say one thing. He was managed by Brendan Rodgers at Swansea. Brendan Rodgers went to Liverpool. He took Joe Allen with him. He didn't take Ashley Williams. If he's not good enough for Brendan Rodgers, he's certainly not good enough for Manchester United, and it baffles me. And I love Carrick fan, and he's Welsh, and he loves Ashley Williams as well. But I totally disagree with it. Ashley Williams is not a Manchester United player. It reminds me of reading Sir Alex Ferguson's book when he had Brian Kidd as his assistant manager. And Brian Kidd came in and said, what about John Hartson? And Sir Alex Ferguson never said a word and said, go back and come back to me when you're talking sense. Some players, just because they're decent for certain teams, doesn't mean they're a Manchester United player. And Ashley Williams is not a Manchester United player. I prefer Phil Jones. But we're here to talk about the Euros. Abel says Ashley Williams not United style. I just laugh. I'm just baffled by some opinion, but it's all about opinion. So if anybody thinks he is, we will read it out. Bray Wyatt says Ashley Williams is a fraud, and to be honest, we don't. Now we've got Zlatan coming to United. We don't even need to say anything about Ashley Williams. Just leave it to Zlatan, who mugged him off today against Wales and made him look the average centre back he is. Thanks to Zlatan. But Euro 2016, hopefully we've got Joey with us now. Joey, the floor is yours. Can you hear us? Can you speak?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Okay, so let's talk about Euro 2016. I've got some stats here, but right, I'll float it out to you. What players are you looking forward to watching in the Euro 2016? with a Manchester United eye on it, I don't want you to say looking forward to watching Ronaldo, because that doesn't benefit a Man United fan channel at all.
I want to see. There's a couple Italian defenders. You know how they always play. I always wanted us to sign Bonucci. I'm more honestly, the Euros are great, but I'm looking at the Copa too as well. I know this is about the
We'll
Euros,
talk about that in a minute.
there's a player for Brazil who's supposed to be the next Neymar. His name is Gabriel Barbosa, I believe it is. Yeah, so I'm looking at him. But right off the top, like you said, Zlatan, I think that's what we all want to see. We want to see him. When we say his goal scoring stats, everybody goes, well, it's in France, but they forget he does it in the Champions League, and you want to see him do it at the Euros at the highest level. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to Zlatan. I want to see how John Stones does as well. I know we might be signing this kid from Villarreal, Eric Bailey, I believe his name is, but you still want to see how Stones does, because like Duncan Castles, it's awfully weird him being almost pro-United now with Mourinho there. He said that that's not going to be most likely not going to be the only center back he signs. So you want to see who else he signs. You talked about Ashley Williams with the experience, and yeah, he's just not Manchester United quality. We're not going to pay just for his experience. We had that with Schweinsteiger. We had that with Zlatan. Hopefully, we had that with Rooney and Carrick and even Smalling now. So I want to see how John Stones does as well at the top level. He's going to probably be playing with Chris Smalling. That's who I would play, and that's a potential partnership for United as well.
Yeah, just in the interest of fairness, because that's what the United stand is, officially bonkers. I mean, you've blown it straight away with where you're going here. His name is officially bonkers. Ashley Williams is very similar to Vidic, and he's a leader, which we lack. Bring him in. I'm off. I'm going home. Oh, I'm going home. Vidic.
Just out the other part of his, the second part of his sentence, which was even better.
Oh, I didn't see that bit, and I've gone past it now. Oh, no. And Shelby, he can hold the ball up and pass to Rooney to pass to Ibrahimovic. I think he's taking the piss, which is great. We love that. A lot of love for Bonucci, who me and Joey spoke about a couple of months ago. He really is very good. Saul Niguez, somebody mentioned him. John Stones is interesting. I don't think Bailly is the end of the centre-back signings. I really don't. I think you look at it, we've got Chris Smalling we can rely on. I think Blynn's going and isn't a centre-back. I think Jones you can't rely on, and Rojo you can't rely on. So even if we bring Bailly in, I still think there's another one, maybe Varane or Stones, to keep an eye on. Alex, who are you looking forward to keeping an eye on at the Euros? I know you're big into your international football anyway. Somebody just said Pjanic there. He's not there because he's Bosnian, but he's probably the best dead free kick taker in the world, and we're linked to him. Exciting.
I'd say at the moment Payet's probably the best free kick taker in the world, in my opinion. But who I'm actually most looking forward to see, it's kind of boring because it's not like targets or anything. It's mainly Martial, and
I agree with you. Yeah.
I really hope he gets. I don't know with Payet in the team if Martial's going to start every game, but I think he will make a big difference for France, and I think he will be a really big player for them. And then obviously Zlatan as well. I want to see how he does it, because everyone's like, oh, it's the French league's a pub league and everything. So in the Euros, everyone's basically on a level playing field. So I hope Zlatan does well. And then just on the England side of things, obviously I'm going to be watching every England game.
I think Ashley Williams might be a running theme through this thing. He's still getting a lot of mention in the live comments. Obviously, we're doing the Sunday night show a bit different. We've gone back to an old school hangout. I'm not a massive fan of it because I can't have my overlay up, but it allows you to get full screen Alex and Joey. So tell us what you prefer, obviously. Ashley Williams, he tried to kill Robin Van Persie, remember, when he blasted that ball at him. Remember, Sir Alex Ferguson said it could have killed him, so it must be gospel. But I have done a little bit of homework. Some people say I don't do that sort of thing, but I have. Just United players at the Euros, and people haven't. If you want to watch certain games, Northern Ireland are crap, let's be honest, but Paddy McNair plays for them. Wayne Rooney's crap, but Smalling plays for England. Marcus Rashford hopefully as well. David De Gea hopefully being goal for Spain. I want to ask Alex about that, because we were sort of thinking that maybe Casillas is the number one, which is ridiculous. Darmian for Italy, but also keep an eye out for Bonucci, as Joey says, really good player. Schneiderlin has been called up late for Lassana Diarra for France, and obviously Anthony Martial. Cannot wait. Griezmann as well, maybe even Pogba, which we'll come to in a moment. Maro and Fellaini. God, Belgium are a good team. Watch Belgium. Don't watch for Fellaini. And Schweinsteiger, obviously, for Germany. But looking at through the let's go through some of the teams really, because who was going to mention to go to? Well, Spain. Let's start off with Spain. It's not the most glamorous one. I'll go to Alex, and then Joey can have France. The only reason I'm going back to Alex is because of this Casillas thing. The only player I can think from Spain that's worth watching in the Euros from a Manchester United point is maybe Alvaro Morata, striker for Juventus, was previously at Real Madrid. We've done a video on him before. He potentially could come to United, but I don't think so if we're getting Zlatan. So it's really De Gea. I can't think of anybody else, but does De Gea play in goal?
Del Bosque is an absolute idiot, but he has to. Like, Casillas is now playing. Like, I can understand him getting the preferential treatment when he was at Real Madrid, which even back then, like, in his last few years at Real Madrid, he wasn't as good as De Gea. But now it's like night and day. De Gea is, like, whatever you're a fan of, you have to say he's either the best keeper in the world or the second best keeper in the world. People always do the debate over him and Neuer. Casillas, currently, you wouldn't even put him in the top 5. Most people wouldn't even probably put him in the top 10. Obviously, he's one of the best keepers ever, but he's not anymore. And he's old and he's past it. And De Gea is so much better. But I don't trust Del Bosque. He really likes to alternate them, so it wouldn't surprise me if he just did one play in one game and other play in the next game.
Yeah, it is really odd. I mean, Musty Finkelman says De Gea is the best keeper in the world. If they don't start him, they're clueless. I really do think he is the best goalkeeper in the world. Morata is overrated, says JJ87. That's Spain. I don't think Spain are going to win it. We'll talk about who we think is going to win it in a moment. We'll go to Joey with France. A few players I've sort of picked out for France, Joey. Obviously, Pogba we know about. Also, Antoine Griezmann, I'd love him to be signed. Kante maybe from Leicester. Payet from West Ham. I'll tell you what I want to just say before I come to you about Pogba. I've said 2 weeks ago with Alex, we did a show, might not even been 2 weeks ago, I said, you're dreaming about Pogba coming to United, but apparently Barcelona can't afford him, Man City aren't interested in him. His options are running out. I can't see him coming to United, but I'm starting to think, if this happens, this is Ronaldo-esque in the sense that I think he's the best midfielder in world football at the moment.
Yeah, and you're not wrong at all. And similar to how James played at the World Cup in Brazil, how he had that, I know Pogba's already an established star, but this is his tournament, James was the lead scorer at that tournament. I'm trying to find some relation to him. I want Pogba to step up, and I want him to boss the show in almost every game. You're on home soil. You have some really, really good players around him. I just pulled up the squad. You have Griezmann, like you said, Martial, Payet, Kante. I want to see how Kante does as well. He had a great season at Leicester, but I want to see him at the top level. I want to see Kingsley Coman, who's another one I wish we could sign, but that's not going to happen. They have a good team. So, you were talking about your picks to win it, and that's why I picked to win it on home soil. Young, hungry talent. Like you said, Griezmann and Pogba, they're going to get you out of the group, just those two alone. And then you add in some of the other players around them. And let's not forget Anthony Martial, who's going to have a breakout Euros as well. So I'm super excited to watch France, and they're my pick to win it.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I'm not going to bore everybody and build it up. My tip to win it is France, home nation. But I just think more than ever that France side, and it's so exciting that we've got Anthony Martial, said like Alex and Joe have said there. So excited to see that. Griezmann, brilliant player. And then they've got the best striker in the world in Giroud. I mean, it just cannot go wrong. I'm taking the piss. But one thing I would say about them, they've got Pogba as well. And Canals Jan says Pogba always seems to struggle for the national team. And I think you're right. I think that's what Joey's saying. He's got to step up and make this his tournament. But I still think a player we let go 2 or 3 years ago is massive for France, and that's Patrice Evra. France, you always worry about them imploding, not having any leadership. They are a bit weak at the back, but Patrice Evra is just an absolute legend and brilliant leader, and he'd be massive for that team that is quite young. But Kante is a good player as well. Payet's had a fantastic season. The only bad thing about Griezmann and Pogba is if they have a really good tournament, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona will come knocking. We can't compete. We can compete financially with anybody, but the trouble is we haven't got Champions League football. If we had it, we'd have Van Gaal though. So I'm more than happy with the situation the way it is. We've got Mourinho, but I think Pogba can happen. I think if it does happen, Jesus Christ, I mean. Well, Zlatan is Jesus, isn't he? So we've got him. You get Pogba. Probably get a right midfielder as well. Absolutely brilliant. But next one up, we've got a big nation, potentially somebody who could win it. Germany, Alex. I think you've got links to Germany. I've highlighted 3 players that people might want to keep an eye out on. And in fact, we won't be doing, I don't know how it's going to work over the next few weeks, but Sunday Night Live will be temporarily suspended and off air while the Euros are on, because quite simply, there's games on that I want to watch, and one of them is Germany v Ukraine next Sunday at 8 o'clock, so it would overlap with us. But we've got loads of stuff going on, loads of transfer shows. We'll still be doing it, but Sunday Live 9 o'clock will go. We'll be spending for at least a couple of weeks. But Germany next Sunday night. Benedict Howard-Ees, I think that's how you say it, defender for Schalke. Some people like him. Tony Kroos, Bayern Munich. Obviously Schweinsteiger and Leroy Sané. Do you know much about him, Alex?
No, I don't know anything about him, to be honest. But I think Germany, I know they won the World Cup and everything, but I don't think that they're going to be that. Well, they've like in the friendlies, and Germany, to be fair, in the run-up to tournaments, usually don't do that well in the friendlies, and then it comes to the actual tournament itself, and then they're brilliant. But like England absolutely played them off the park in Germany. Slovakia beat them the other day, although it was their kind of beating when Slovakia paid them. But they obviously have a lot of good players, but they're also like Schweinsteiger. You don't know whether he's going to be 100% fit. Royce is out. Gundogan's out for them, so they actually have quite a lot of injuries. But then they still do have danger in like the likes of Özil, Müller, players like that.
Yeah, you still there? Yeah, okay. Leroy Sané, I've probably got his name wrong. He's a right midfielder, quite skillful, at Schalke as well. Meant to be very good. Mentioned a lot with, somebody just said they're not a fan of him. Ben Horsfield says he's not a fan of him. But he's been linked with Man United, he's been linked with Manchester City. A name that's probably been around there for a couple of years. Can't score, says Ben. Imagine Sané and Martial on the wings. He's a right midfielder, and I think that's why this is what it's all about, the Euros. So do tune in and listen to what we're trying to say and what people are going to put in the comments, hopefully below, about what they're thinking about players to keep an eye out. Because Euros, I used to be a massive fan of England. I watched the show. I could do a video about Euro '96. I was drinking at the time. I was old enough. Fantastic tournament, and I fell out of love with England. I think Rashford being part of England has sort of made me be interested again. But I'd be a massive fan of the Euros anyway, because there's so many good teams and players to keep an eye on, and that's sort of why we're doing this, and we want your input on it as well. So you know, Sané maybe, but they're on next Sunday at 8 o'clock, so keep an eye out for that. A few others that you might not be aware of. Bonucci, obviously, Joey's mentioned him. Belgium, Radji, I'm never going to get this right. Radji Nainggolan, Roma midfielder. Yannick Carrasco, obviously. Lukaku, maybe. I can't see Lukaku happening at all. I can't see that happening at all. Obviously, England, we'll touch on them in a moment, and I'll go to Joey with that one. Italy, Bonucci. Poland, Lewandowski, real outside chance. I can't see us getting him at all. I think Madrid want him. Portugal, Andre Gomes, William Carvalho, Joao Maria, and obviously Sweden, Zlatan. But going to England, you mentioned John Stones, Joey. Some people still even think Harry Kane.
I mean, Harry Kane would be a great signing, but I think with Zlatan coming in, I think they're going to want Rashford to play more games. They'll see how he does, probably at the beginning of the season, and because there's always that chance, you get that 2-week trial period before the transfer window ends to see if you're happy with the squad, and they could go out and buy another striker. All of a sudden, one's not playing at a club and he's unhappy. But I would love Harry Kane. I don't think it'll happen this season. He didn't pretty much fire Tottenham into the Champions League. They have a good team. They're a great defensive team. You really like the way they defend as a team, the way Pochettino sets them up. I would love Harry Kane because, I was skeptical about him the first season. I said, all right, he had a good season. I don't know if he could do it again. And he started really slow the second season, but he came on really well. And he ended up with how many goals? 20-some goals. So, and he scores goals out of nothing sometimes. I'm thinking about that goal against Arsenal. I mean, what a goal. On the other side of the box to bend it around Ospina, I think it was. It was just a class goal. Left foot, right foot, with his head. He's hungry. You can tell he wants to win. So hopefully they do bad this year. They don't do well in the Champions League, don't qualify for it, and then we can come in the following summer. Because I think he's, tailor-made to replace Rooney.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan. He's not going to come to United when they're in the Champions League. I think another year, like Joey says, easily. John Stones mismanaged, as somebody just said in the comments section there. 100% agree with that. I think John Stones, Mourinho likes him. That the reality is, and I think a lot of you will know this because I know a lot of you are intelligent when it comes to football, but deals that are going to get done this week, Zlatan's going to get done this week, Bay's going to get done this week, and then I would be surprised, unless we do Pjanic, I can't see us doing anybody else before the Euros, because people are going to be joining up with their squads from probably tomorrow until Wednesday, depending on when their first game is. And then once you're in Euros, they're probably going to have a holiday afterwards. So it's going to be July time, which I'm quite relaxed about. I think a lot of people were getting on Mourinho's back saying, or United's back saying, oh, Arsenal have bought some jelly baby, and you know, City have bought a fat pregnant German. You know, Mourinho has not been sat on his backside for the last 6 months like our manager previously was. He has clearly been doing his homework. He's only been in the job, what, a week, and already there's 2 deals pretty much signed up. One who is a world class and one who nobody bloody heard of. So he's doing his work, and I think if we get 2 signings done before the Euros, that's really good work, and it allows us to relax into the Euros, keep our eye out, and then bring in a couple more, because the likes of Griezmann, Pogba, Stones, and anyone else you want to name who are in the Euros, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen before the Euros, but makes it more exciting to do some links. But England, Alex, I know you're a massive fan of England. Massive fan of Stones, or is there anybody else keeping an eye out for you?
A lot of people, they were saying it in the comment section, but I see it like every day saying, oh, Stones is overrated, blah, blah, but you can't judge Stones off of last season, because Martinez has absolutely no idea how to organise a defence. It's like they were really good going forward, but they were terrible defending. Like, Stones is actually a good defender. He just needs a manager that actually knows how to organise a defence, which Jose does. So I think he will thrive, but it's just sad that we don't have, well, if he does come, the likes of Rio or someone that he can learn of, because he's, no offence, I know everyone says he's amazing, but he's not going to learn that much of Smalling, whereas if Jose does come in, there's all those rumours, well, not sorry if he comes in, but there's all the rumours that he wants to bring Rio onto his staff, which I think could really help Smalling as well as Stones if Rio's there to coach them. But yeah, I would be really happy. I don't know if it will happen, but he's never really like seemed to me a Jose type defender. And he seems more like Pep would want to sign him, and I think City do want to sign him. But then again, he did really go for him at Chelsea, so I'd be really happy with him. But I also feel like we do need a more senior defender, and I think we need 2 centre backs anyway.
Yeah, I think he could end up at City. I wouldn't be disappointed if we don't get Stones, but I do see the potential in him, which I think both Alex and Joey do. I don't know whether anyone used to play FIFA when Roberto Martinez was manager of Wigan, but I used to love it in career mode, because his defence, even FIFA figured it out, that Roberto Martinez's defence is shit, and they play like 2 at the back and really attacking football, and used to always go and beat Wigan 5 or 6-0 when I played on FIFA, and they don't get it wrong. Roberto Martinez is an awful defensive manager, and it's been hard for the likes of Stones to try and develop under that. Mourinho has obviously seen the potential in him, and I think he has got a lot of potential. Jordan Curley said Bakey would be a good signing. I think he means Barkley. I like Ross Barkley. Again, another player maybe not fulfilling his potential under Martinez, but interestingly, if he has a good Euros, who knows? I always think Barkley would be a decent replacement for Rooney, but he needs to step it up a bit. Tielemans, another player on FIFA, is very good, says Tim Chow. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when it comes to England. But I still think John Stones could be done. I do want to touch on Copa America. I'll go to Joey about that now. James Rodriguez, or James Rodriguez, is somebody who is pretty much putting himself in the shop window. Same agent as Mourinho. Could that happen? You've obviously mentioned Barbosa. I think it was Draughty saying that we're going to get him. I've known about Barbosa for quite a while. I think his record's fantastic, but I'm pretty sure he's got a pre-contract agreement with Barcelona, which apparently Lewandowski's got with Real Madrid. There are a couple of more I want to touch on. There's is it Marquinhos as well, the centre-back at Brazil? And obviously Willian. Yeah, it's over to you, Joe.
Marquinhos is a good player. I mean, I don't watch much PSG. I only see him in, and he didn't play a lot in the Champions League. But apparently, they paid a lot of money for him from Roma. The kid's got tons of potential. Similar, well, not similar. I don't want to say that, he's a player that could come. I would rather him probably be 3rd or 4th choice, behind Varane or Stones. Willian's another one. I don't know if we could prize him away from Chelsea. Would love him on the right wing. There's a player not playing in the Copa, that's been linked, and doesn't want to sign a new contract. And I came up with a great idea. That's Mkhitaryan. I know he's not in any tournament, but I just wanted to mention, why not swap Man Mata for Mkhitaryan? I think that'd be a great deal for both sides. and I think he would fill a huge need. But going back to James Rodriguez, I really would like to sign him as well. You know, put him in the number 10, let him do his thing, let him, you know, he'll track back, I think. You know, he plays with his heart on his sleeve. He's a good player, and I like him. I want to see us sign him. You know, like you said, he's put himself in the shop window. He's not getting his time at Real Madrid. He's got something to prove. He scored a penalty the other day, but I believe he hurt his shoulder. There was talk that it was separated. I haven't followed up on that, so I'm sure somebody in the comments will let me know. But yeah, he's a player I would love to sign. And as far as Barbosa goes, I've not seen him play. I didn't get to see Brazil the other night, but he is dubbed the next Neymar. And even if he's half as good as Neymar, he's going to be a decent player.
There's a lot of good talent out there at the moment. I think that's the main thing. And not every, people are saying they're fed up of Bayern Munich and Barcelona and Real Madrid taking the best players. Well, I think that's because we're not on the top table at the moment, because we haven't been for 3 years. And even when we were under Sir Alex Ferguson, we were well known for not spending the big money. With Mourinho now there, if he can get us back in the Champions League, which I'm 100% sure he will do next summer, then we will start to get after these players. But having said that, there are still a lot of good players out there, and Barcelona could want Griezmann, they could want Lewandowski, they could want Barbosa, but you cannot escape from the fact that you've got Messi, Suarez and Neymar. They can't promise people first-team football like we can, and hopefully we can benefit from that. Alfie says he'd love James Rodriguez. Again, like Joey, I really like him. I know a lot of people struggle with the fact that they've been to Real Madrid, then they come to us. But a lot of people might not realise about Rodriguez. He isn't like a Ronaldo, Di Maria sort of player. He is, but he's also very good. He can play midfield. He's very good in the tackle, hard-working, like Joey said. And that could be perfect for us in that 3 midfield behind the number 9, attacking when they've got the ball, defending when they haven't got the ball, position for Mourinho. Interesting. I quite like the look of him. And to be honest, we could probably do that deal easier than anybody because of the agent thing. Anybody in Copa America that you've got your eye on, Alex?
I'm not going to watch it, to be honest, but I had heard of that Barbosa kid that plays for Santos. I only heard about him the other day, to be honest, when Drawty was talking about him. But I looked him up, and he does seem good, and his goal record's pretty good. But you know, like I know he's probably not as good as Neymar, but the price that you have to pay to get him, I think he actually has a €40 million buyout clause, which is a bit of a risk, because people say about Zlatan in the French league, but the Brazilian league's even lower class than that. But he scored on his international debut the other day as well, so I think it'll be interesting. I don't know whether he'll start, but then again, I don't know if they still do, they used to play like trash like Fred up front, so if he's decent, then he should be their starting striker, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it has started Copa America. I think they drew 0-0 with Peru. In fact, I think the 4 games that have been so far haven't been great. The sad thing about it is, well, the good thing about it is it's in America, and I always like any tournament in America, going back to '94. I just like the atmosphere in the stadium and everything like that, and I loved it when United were there last summer. The bad thing is that most games are at like 1 o'clock in the morning, which is absolutely crap, because there are some really good teams in there: Argentina, Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, obviously. But the players that I sort of highlighted, if you want to watch out for: Colombia, obviously James Rodriguez; Brazil, Marquinhos, Willian, Barbosa. I'd love Willian. I know he's not the glamorous one that people want, but he's 27, he's experienced, he's in his prime, he's Premier League proven, he's fantastic with the dead ball, he's very skillful, and he works hard when he hasn't got the ball. Perfect. I just don't know whether we can get him from Chelsea. Ecuador, obviously Antonio Valencia. What's his future at United? Squad player at best, I think. Uruguay. There's a couple of players I'm going to mention now that I'm surprised we haven't been mentioned, linked to. Cavani. Why have we not been mentioned with? I don't like Cavani, but I'm amazed we've not been linked with him. We always are. Godin, obviously at Uruguay, is a good centre back. And Argentina, Romero. Apparently he's going to be our number 1. Get out the door. Rojo, get out the door. Higuain, and then the 4th one. I'm amazed again that we're not signing him. Gaetan. He can start off as well. But back to the Euros, I think Copa America is a great tournament. It's a real shame that it's overlapping with Euros, and it's a real shame that the time difference is so bad, because it will be undermined. In fact, if you try and find stuff out about Copa America on BBC, it's very, very difficult. You have to go and look elsewhere, which shows how much it's getting this year, because everything's about the Euros. But back onto the Euros, I presume we're all going to go for France. I didn't ask you, Alex.
Heart says England, but yeah, if I was putting money on it, I'd say France. But with England, I think we actually do have a good team for once, but we just have an absolutely hopeless manager. But yeah, France would be. I think France just have to be the overwhelming favourite, because, like you said, home soil. I think player for player, their team is probably the best as well. It's absolutely insane when you go through their list. Like some of their players, like Kante, probably wouldn't even start for France, and he'd like be England's best midfielder by an absolute mile. So it just shows the quality that they have in their team.
Yeah, and just for any of you who are a bit of a stato, I spend my time doing this sort of thing. Next weekend, you've got France v Romania on Friday night at 8 o'clock. So that's Martial, Griezmann, Pogba, Kante, whatever else. England v Russia on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, Rooney-esque and everybody else. And then Sunday, Poland v Northern Ireland, if you want to watch Paddy McNair. But Germany-Ukraine is next Sunday at 8 o'clock, which means we won't be live then that Sunday. And then the following Sunday, we won't be live either because it's Switzerland v France, which, again, we will want to watch. So we're off there for at least 2 weeks on a Sunday. We'll have to see what the following week is. But I think we agree with that. You've got to buy into the Euros. It's going to be an exciting time, and a lot of United players to watch out for, but also a lot of United targets to look out for. But I think this week's going to be interesting. Bring it back to United for a moment. Bay's going to sign 100%. I'm not taking the criticism that we did the video 2 days early because I'm never going to wait for things to be official when I know it's going to happen. And Zlatan, we were talking before we come on air. He's announced a big. Jordan Curley says Ireland. We've got no Man United players in the Republic of Ireland team, mate, unfortunately. And Zlatan, he has got some sort of sponsorship thing coming out on Tuesday. I don't know how much longer they can drag it out, but he is Zlatan and he does enjoy it. So I think those two will be done this week. Anyone else, Joey, do you think?
I would like to see the Pjanic thing. I really want Pogba, though, like you said. And I hope we do chase him. At least you got to be in for him. You got to try. And that's another thing is, I know the Sun reported that we made a bid, and I doubt we're going to make a bid just to make one. There has to be some type of, I know Juventus do want to cash in. I think they're resigned to losing him. But yeah, I think Zlatan, the Bailey guy, will definitely be done probably in the next couple days, if not already done, just waiting to announce. I wanted to ask you two, is there any worry that Zlatan isn't coming to either of you,
Well, there will be from Alex. I'm 100% sure it's going to happen because, I'm laid back if it doesn't happen because if it doesn't happen, we still need a striker and it's exciting because then you start thinking Aubameyang and one player I didn't mention who I really do like is Icardi, Inter Milan. Funny story with him, Argentinian, doesn't play for the Argentinian team because he banged someone's missus, but that player doesn't play for Argentina anymore, but the coach holds a grudge. Very good player, very hard-working, decent height, strength, really good player. But apparently Mourinho was interested in him. But no, I think Zlatan's going to happen. Over to you, Alex.
I'm not 100% with Zlatan. I mean, obviously all the newspaper reports and everything is saying, yeah, it's done deal and everything. But Sky Sports, recently, they used to be like the most reliable source for news. But like the last 2-3 seasons, they've just been so unreliable and get so many stories wrong. They're turning into like a tabloid. But I would say that he, just because of the history with Jose and stuff, but this thing, someone was mentioning it in the comments earlier, and I did mention it to you before, Mark, about this. Zlatan after the game with Wales, after they won 3-0, and apparently he was at the heart of everything good Sweden did, but he said that, he'll make the announcement of the summer on the 7th of June, blah, blah, blah. So me and Mark both thought it's probably about his clothing line, which also comes out 7th of June. He's just winding up the journalists, but I don't know what Joey thinks.
Yeah, I mean, Joey, are you confident it's going to happen? I suppose we'll throw the question back to you.
Yeah, I think at this point you got to look around and you got to look at his options. I know Spurs were interested, but the link with Mourinho, I know he's probably a little disappointed he won't be in the Champions League, but I think to play for Man United, it's probably something he could put on his career, that just puts a great, the final stamp on it. It's been a great career, and hopefully he can go out, winning the title. I mean, if he brings, what we know he's capable of bringing with Mourinho, it's really exciting times ahead for United, especially this season. I don't see any reason why they can't challenge for the title, given the right signings this summer. They got the right manager. They have a good, some good pieces left over from the LVG era. And if you add to that superstar quality, which, a lot of players we talked about, they are superstars. We're going after the top player. Maybe not Eric Bailly because we don't know too much about him. But James, Zlatan, Pogba, I mentioned Mkhitaryan. All these players are big name players, and that's the type of player that the name Jose Mourinho and Manchester United together attract.
I'm totally with you. I don't get it. I really do not get why people are being negative about this. Because let's not be. It's not like we've done this every summer. We knew when we got Mourinho that the transfer in this summer was going to be so exciting, both ins and outs. The outs haven't started yet. That's going to be exciting. But people are like, if this was last summer, we'd be linked with Zlatan all summer and not get him and not get anybody else, because that's the United way. And when it comes to Bailly, people saying, oh, nobody knew anything about him 2 days ago, like it's a bad thing. So what? He's on a trajectory like that, and he reminds me of Martial in that sense. That
nobody. I was about to say just quickly, no one knew who Martial was, and he's our best player by an absolute mile.
Yeah, he reminds me of that. I mean, I'm going to hold my hands up. I've seen him in about 2 games, and that's it. And I didn't know a hell of a lot about him. But everyone who has seen him, whether it's Villarreal fans or Spanish journalists, they're like, he's on a massive trajectory. He's almost shocked everybody. And Pep Guardiola from Manchester City wanted him, and Barcelona are linked to him as well. So he's not United. He hasn't been picked out yet. He's been picked out by Mourinho, which I think is absolutely huge. Stuart Marston says he wants my T-shirt. I'm sure we can sort some of those out if people are interested in them. This is the old emblem. This is old style. Richard Tacklin says Pjanic is no for me. We've got a video out tomorrow on Pjanic. People don't know anything about him. I'll be honest, I'm not totally convinced myself, and the main reason for that is I think if you get him, you don't get Pogba or Griezmann. So I'd rather just wait and have a little bit more excitement.
I know stats, you can't always go by stats, but they're in the same league, and I saw a thing the other day of Pjanic next to Pogba, and Pjanic beats him in every single stat, offensively and defensively.
I don't want to give too much away about Pjanic and the video I've done, but one thing where we were dreadful last season is dead balls, corners, and crosses into the box. He's one of the best in the world at it, and Mourinho will totally improve us when it comes to corners. And we scored hardly any last season. That's at least 10 goals a season next year under Mourinho, and maybe he's thinking that I need a good dead ball player. But very, very quickly, I'll throw this back to Joey. You were sort of touching about there. You'd like us to get Pogba. You'd like, Juventus want to sell. I think the big difference probably from when Louis van Gaal took over, where we had quite an ageing squad. We had to get, Giggs retired, Ferdinand retired, Vidic and Evra went. We might not have a fantastic squad, but he spent a lot of money, Van Gaal, and we do have quite a lot of what I would call give in relation to the squad. So that if we go to Atletico Madrid and we want Griezmann, we can say, do you want Mata? Do you want Memphis? Do you want Rojo? Do you want, we've got a lot of players, and I know it upsets fans, it does upset Daley Blind. We have got a few players that we can throw up and say, look, we really want Pogba. Do you want Juan Mata and Daley Blind? And that's something we haven't had before.
And I think I think you look at the Juventus team, and I would give Memphis, because I think they need a winger. I would definitely give up Memphis for Paul Pogba. I'd give up all 3 of them, Memphis, Blind, and Mata, and I'd throw 50 million in. I know I'm over-exaggerating here, but that's the type of player he is. And you look at Blind, I love Daley Blind. I think he's a great guy you keep around the squad. He can fill in when you need him because, injuries do happen. Memphis obviously didn't have the best season, and we know Juan Mata's leaving. But, none of them can replicate what Paul Pogba can do. Maybe Memphis in time, but I think Juan Mata's past it, and I think, like I said, Daley, you're not going to keep a utility guy around if you could throw him in an offer for Juventus. And Juventus, they're dominating their league, and for them the focus is more towards the Champions League. And I think some players that we have could help them, like a Juan Mata. Put him in the number 10 with Dybala, and hopefully they still have Morata. That would be a great pickup for them. They can still go out and get. If we were to take Pogba from them, all they could do is turn around and just buy Pjanic from Roma. I think that would work perfectly. They're the Bayern of their league, and that's how it's become in Italy and Germany. Even in Spain, it's the top 3 teams, and that's it. That's why the Premier League's the best, most exciting league, because every team has a chance.
Yeah, I agree. And just on Pjanic as well, £29 million, and it doesn't matter what Roma say, because that's his buyout clause. And that's what I quite like about European football, is the buyout clauses, which apparently Vardy had as well. But
and Roma are broke, apparently. They have to pay a fine to UEFA, I believe. I don't know if you mentioned that in your video tomorrow. But they owe a fine, and I believe that's the amount that they're looking for Pjanic. So they're almost forced to sell him.
Sign Strootman.
Strootman probably won't come because he's massively close to Van Gaal, and I'm still not convinced about his knees anyway. Ravens Claude says player exchanges rarely happen, which is very, very true. Fellaini plays quite well for Belgium. If he has a good Euros, Roma like him. I like Manolas. I like Pjanic. You know, maybe, you never know. Fellaini's got to happen. I will celebrate him like signing Pogba. If we sell Fellaini, that will be a video to watch. And everyone's welcome to join me. That's a party. Drinks are on me. We sell Fellaini. I don't care. You know, it's going to have to be a hell of a signing to beat that. But I'm not convinced we will. I think it's something that's going to mock me forever as a United fan. I think he'll stay there forever, head coach in a few years. But Memphis, Alex, very quickly. Memphis. Joey says he'd lose him for Pogba. I'll be totally honest with you. I want him to stay. I want him to prove himself. I'm quite concerned about it. He's not a defensive midfielder in the sense that I think Mourinho likes his attackers to express themselves and gives them the freedom. And Memphis was sort of hinting at that last week in what he said. However, Memphis, when he hasn't got the ball, doesn't have the discipline and hard work, which means he's going to have to find that discipline and hard work, which makes me think, would Mourinho be patient enough with that? You've got to remember with Mourinho, this is his redemption. He's got to get it right. He can't take risks. And I worry that Memphis, he might just think, that's too much hard work. I'm going to go and get a Willian who I know will do everything I want him to do. If he does it, then I'll be honest with you, I'll back Mourinho.
I don't know, like you said, Memphis probably doesn't track back enough for a Mourinho type winger, but I think he has so much potential. People are like quick to call him a flop and everything, but you can't call someone a flop for one bad season. If you judged everyone after one season, we wouldn't currently have the best goalkeeper in the world playing for us. But I think whoever he goes to, if we do sell him, that he'll be quality there. I think like PSG, if he'd have gone there, he would have been on over 20 goals. Again, I know people say,
yeah, so would I.
Yeah, but I've said it on the show so many times, and it still holds true that Memphis' biggest problem is and will continue to be Martial playing in the same position. And Martial's our best player, so he's not going to usurp Martial unless he wants to play two up front, which he never has before, Jose. So I don't think he's going to start to now.
To be honest, I think that's a fantastic point, Alex. I think, whatever anybody thinks about Memphis, where do you play him? Because he's not really a right midfielder. And also, I think when you play in Zlatan, hopefully, as number 9, Martial on the left, because I think that's where he should stay for the next 2 years. People keep saying, oh, let's play him at number 9. Just watch what happened with Thierry Henry. He didn't explode till about 23, 24, and he was played on the wing. And Martial is better than Henry on that wing, and that's where he should be for the next year or two. So you've got Martial, who is more expressive and attacking. You can't really have another Martial type on the right. You want someone like a Willian, who is very good going forward, but also very hard working and getting back. And then the number 10, I think we've spoke about this. I think he will give it to Rooney, and he will learn from that mistake after a month or two that Rooney isn't the number 10. But we'll just have to see what happens with Memphis. I'm not convinced he will stay. I'm sort of 50-50, but we'll just have to see. But that's everything I've covered. Anything else, Joey?
No, we're going to have to sit back and enjoy the football. Hopefully we get these deals done this week. Like you said, we talked about that. And then we're going to just enjoy 2 good tournaments, and then preseason will practically be here. And it's exciting times ahead. I can't wait. I really can't wait. Like, I know I keep saying that, but you can't put into words, how excited United, the buzz around United now with Mourinho and the direction we're heading, hopefully.
Yeah, I agree. I think we forget very, very quickly how bad last season was, and Van Gaal, and we could have had Van Gaal, and what a couple of weeks it's been. He's been kicked out of the club. Mourinho's come in. We've got a couple of signings that, it's fantastic. It's fantastic to even have one signing before the Euros, but we'll have a couple of signings, hopefully. I was saying to Paul the other day, I'm looking forward to the Euros, mainly because it's something to sort of get a month out of the way, because once the Euros are over, we'll be well into pre-season, China tour, Charity Shield, and then the real fun starts. But I'm despite a bad season where we fucked up Champions League football and we should have got it and we haven't got it next year, I've never felt so happy in the last 3 years. I'm really positive about where Manchester United are going, which I suppose is weird when you think about the fact that we've messed up the Champions League. But this summer, I think, has got the potential to be absolutely massive. We've not even talked about the people who are going out the door, and there'll be quite a few, Alex.
Yeah, I said before previously that I think well, I assume that Jose's going to do the pre-season tour before he does any sales, so he can, like, he'll know roughly a lot about all our players, but I'm sure he'll want to see them for himself and listening to his instructions, fitting into his play style. Mata, I'm still not even 100% convinced that Mata will stay, but a lot of people were saying in the comment section about what we think about De Gea. I think I've read reports in like AS and Marca in Spain that Zidane wants Keylor Navas and whoever their sub and their third keeper are to stay, and that they apparently all get on really well and that they're really happy with Navas. So I don't think Real Madrid will come in, and Real Madrid are the only ones that can activate his buyout clause. So I think De Gea will stay for at least another season. And I think anyway with Mourinho that he would have stayed anyway. But the only thing I worry about is if Mourinho falls out with Mata or Herrera by not playing them, if that will affect De Gea, but hopefully he's a professional and won't be like
that. Very quickly, Stuart Marson has just he's been asking me this all night. Schweinsteiger going or staying? I don't know. I'm up in the air really. I'm looking forward to watching him for Germany if he's fit, because I think we didn't see the real Schweinsteiger last year. But whether I've got a funny feeling he might go to America. De Gea. Alex is right. I've been saying for a long time. I said as soon as he stayed last September, there's 100% a clause in that contract. And some people were going, "I haven't got a bloody clue what you're on about." I said, 100% there is a clause in that contract, because the way he's signed that so quickly, having been absolutely flawed, he wanted to go to Madrid. There is definitely a clause in that contract. My concern is that I agree with what Alex says, that they're happy with Navas and Zidane's obviously going to stay. But my concern is that this is beyond what Zidane wants. This is what the president wants, who wants to send a statement that he promised to get De Gea last year, and he's going to get him just to prove a point. The issue will be, I think it will come down to one very simple thing, and that will be, does David De Gea want to stay at Manchester United, or does he want to go to Real Madrid? And I'm going to ask my panellists about this, and I'll ask you, everybody at home who's watching. You know what? If I'm being 100% honest, there's two things. One, if he goes, I won't lose any sleep about it. He's the best keeper in the world. He's been absolutely superb for Manchester United, and I wish him all the best, because he wanted to go last year. He gave us a year. He doesn't owe us anything else. And if he does go, I don't think we'll ever be reliant on a goalkeeper again, as we have been the last 3 years under two poor managers. Certainly not under Mourinho. We won't be so reliant on him. And I think we'd get away with a Lloris or someone like that in goal. I'd hate him to go, but I don't think it's the end of the world if he does. And I think if he does go, he goes because he wants to go, and we can't begrudge him that. I don't know what you think, Joey.
I think you just echoed everything I would say. He doesn't owe us anything. You know, he wanted to go. I understand it's not for footballing, it's for personal reasons, and I get that. You know, his girl lives there. I've said this multiple times. I understand that, and he should be number one for his country. And the fact that they're even debating that, or that thought has even gone into Del Bosque's head, means he needs to be smacked around. But yeah, you echoed everything I would say.
Yeah, no worries. And that's a good point, I suppose, Alex. We discussed this last year when we thought he was going to go. He one of the big reasons for going may well be to get his place in the Spanish squad, which he should have anyway.
Yeah, it's just, as Joey said, it's an absolute disgrace that it's even up for debate. He's so much better than Casillas in 2016. It just blows my mind that Del Bosque even is like considering that. But yeah, we can't begrudge him anything for if he does go there. But it just kills me that if he does leave, that it's to them, because I hate them so much. And like I said the other day, it sickened me to see my whole Twitter timeline full of Man United fans cheering them on, when they always come for our best players and always talk our best players up in public and just act so classily. And then boo said players once they buy them anyway. They're just such a classist club. I hate them. I wouldn't care if he moved to Atletico or Bayern. Well, I would care, but I wouldn't be upset. But I just hate losing players to Real Madrid.
It's always good to talk about De Gea. The live comment section is going absolutely mad, saying he said he's going to stay. Why are you debating for it? He's staying, he's staying, he's staying. I think he'll stay. I'm just throwing it out there that just so it's a little bit in your head, that if he suddenly goes, at least you can sort of get your head around it a little bit. I think he will stay. It doesn't make any sense for him to go. But the concern is the buyout clause is there. If Real Madrid pay it for whatever reason, De Gea's got to make a decision, and he may just think, I can go home, I can be back amongst my family with my girlfriend, and I'll get my Spanish shirt. But he'd probably be walking into a horrible situation, because the Real Madrid fans actually like Navas. One mistake and they'll torture him, but that's Real Madrid. I found out with them massively last summer with a video I did. I can't stand them, I don't like them, I like Ronaldo, but I don't like Real Madrid. I absolutely hate them. Worst fans in the world, even worse than Liverpool and Arsenal fans, because they consistently boo their own players, and that makes me sick. I don't think I can say anything more than that, but I've really enjoyed tonight. We've talked a hell of a lot about the Euros. They start on Friday. Cannot wait for that. And lots to look out for. It's all about transfers at the moment. I am actually looking forward to us getting rid of some players as well. I think that's going to be interesting, because I think that's as confusing as maybe some of the signings that we're going to make. But thanks for coming on, Joey.
Cheers, pal. Looking forward to the summer.
And thanks for coming on, Alex.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to coming on the show after England lift the Euros.
That'll be never then. But thanks, everybody. We've obviously done this as a hangout. We haven't done a hangout for a long time. So if anybody is not watching live, or if you are watching live, just comment below. Tell us what you prefer, because I do appreciate when we do it on the other way, you get the live comments that you can read up there. Do you like that? Don't you like it? Do you prefer it as a hangout? Whatever. Just feed it back, because it's interesting to us, and we do really listen to what you've got to say. We've got videos going up every day at the moment. Miralem Pjanic will go up tomorrow around 3 or 4 o'clock, so keep an eye out for that. Recorded that today, and hopefully we'll be reacting live to some sort of signing this week. I expect Bailly, I expect Zlatan, and maybe we'll get one more, but I'll be happy with the 2. But there's loads of content coming up. We won't be doing Sunday live for the next 2 weeks, because there's 2 games we want to watch. Germany, Ukraine next week, and then France, Switzerland the following week. Waste of time doing a Sunday night show when we'll all be watching Martial and Schweinsteiger and other targets. But we will be doing live content, so just keep an eye out. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe if you haven't, because we did a live one with Alex the other day about transfer shows. We might start doing those on a Tuesday or something like that. But there's a lot of games coming up, so a lot of you seem to prefer the hangout, so maybe we should do that. Kev's in Lanzarote. Thanks to my guests. Really enjoyed it. Lots of you watching. Keep watching. Keep spreading the word about the United Stand. It's the only way we grow. We grow from you spreading the word. We don't advertise or anything like that. We're 100% independent. That's what we do, and that'd be great. Thanks everyone for watching. Enjoy your week, and I'm really looking forward to the Euros.